You are listening to Single Smart Female. This is Jenn, explaining the possibilities in your love life and examining your mantourage dating experiences. I am here to help you do life and love on your terms by tipping the scales of love permanently in your favor. So don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, and let's get started. Hello, single smart female. It's your romantic fairy godmama coming to you today with a single smart female listener question. Now, this listener question comes all the way from California. She's 42 years old, and this is Miss Brand New to Online Dating. Miss Brand New to Online Dating writes, Dear Jenn, I've never online dated. And after listening to your podcast and other resources you provide, I'm convinced that it would be a good idea. However, when I look at all the dating apps, read reviews, and ask friends, I'm overwhelmed with all the options and not sure which dating app to choose. Do you recommend a particular dating app and why? Okay, so Miss Brand New to Online Dating. First off, I'm going to tell you this is not an easy question. Why? Because my opinions on certain dating apps kind of revolve and rotate and depending on what's going on. So we're going to dive into this, but we're going to dive from more of a background perspective than just what I think the current dating app du jour should be for you. And I'm going to explain why as well, because that's actually really important to understand so that you can make the right decision for you. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that my preference when I work with my clients is long form over dating apps, the short form with just, a couple word answers here and there. And I like to be able to put together, help my clients put together a substantial profile that gives men a great starting point and to connect with you. Why? Because if we look at the short form apps, they can be effective, but they're really feeding into this idea of instant gratification. And in certain things in life, instant gratification is good, but I think when we feed that all the time, we're creating this monster that we're insatiable in every part of our life and we can never be happy. I have found over and over again, it's okay definitely to be on the short form apps, meaning like Bumble, and I can't think of all of them at the top of my head, but I prefer long form apps over those, and you can pick and choose in your area which one will work for you. And you need to, more important than which dating app you choose, more important, you need to put a significantly good profile together. Most women walk into this and they put together what I call a whatever profile. They're nervous about doing it. They don't know what to say. They don't put any thought or preparation into their profile, and they just put up a line here, like a line there. They end up saying things that they don't recognize that they're saying that put off the wrong signals and attract the wrong type of guys. And it's a clusterfuck from the get-go. And online dating has a bad rap because women have no clue what they're doing in online dating. And I concede that men have no clue either, maybe even more so than women. Well, I don't know. That kind of goes back and forth. So what I'm going to recommend to you is to choose 1 to 2 long form apps, meaning you have a significant amount of place where you can actually put together a really good profile, and a short form app. Okay. So, and whatever it works for you. I don't actually suggest reading a ton of reviews because this is one of the areas where you're actually going to make yourself sick to your stomach because women are horribly jaded about online dating. You're not going to get really unbiased reviews. If you're going to ask anybody, I would ask people that you know what kind of men they've seen on there, although I still think you're going to get some jaded reviews. I think in this one, you're going to kind of have to go in blind and just decide intuitively what feels good for you and what feels fun for you, and to try a couple of different formats. I'm going to talk more about the whole dating app thing and just online dating thing here in a minute. It's because I have I love-hate relationship. I absolutely love it. Online dating has the biggest pool of single, available, great men. No doubt whatsoever. But I have a philosophy behind it that I'm going to share with all of you today so that you understand what you're stepping into it. Because if you view this in the wrong way and you're looking at this from a certain perspective, you're going to miss out a lot of the potential. And we'll talk about that in just a bit. So, okay, I already covered. I prefer long form over short form. If you're going to do it, I would choose 1 to 2 long forms and 1 short form. Okay? Reviews are jaded. I don't necessarily recommend checking out reviews. Other Amazon products, things like that, I always check out the reviews. Not so in this case. Okay, let's talk about kind of the philosophy behind online dating. I want to set you up to really win in this situation since this is your first time going on. And this is also for women who've been on online, even if you've been on it for years with little success. The first thing you need to know is if you refuse to address your blocks, it's unlikely it's going to be a great experience. So we always think of dating as with just I just happen to be the right man. No, that's not exactly what's happening. What's really happening is whether or not you're actually open to meeting the right man. And this is where a lot of women get seriously stuck. This is why man-tourage dating is so powerful and learning how to do it the right way instead of a half-ass way. Because it's not based on, first off, it's not based on your looks. It's not based on all these just outside factors. It's not based on whether or not you're lucky in love and you just happen to meet the right person. It is absolutely 100% based on whether or not you are truly open to receiving this type of love and attention and whether you allow yourself to become comfortable with it in life. Now, with that said, of course, I go a lot into that in different aspects in other podcasts. We're going to focus more on the online dating process here, but I want to make it clear if you do not address your own blocks, even if you're not online dating, but if you always make it about, what he did wrong or how it just didn't work with him and not addressing your own part in that, it's going to be a significantly tall task to take on and not a very fun one, which is why so many women are jaded about it. Okay. The other thing, this is just a little side note because I've recently had some clients bring this to my attention. And okay, so let's talk about my love-hate relationship with online dating a little bit. Again, I love online dating. Love it. All of my clients do it. We do lots of wonderful things with it. I'm going to help you understand, again, the philosophy behind it as well to help step into it better. But you have to, when you're going into online dating, especially if you're paying, you have to read the fucking fine print. I wish I didn't have to make this disclaimer. Online dating sites are not the most reputable people, okay? They like to have a certain level of success that happens. And to be honest, though, they're there to make a lot of money, which means the longer you are single, the longer you stay on their site, the more money that they get from you. So read the fine print. If they offer you something for free for a certain amount of days, make sure they don't have something stupid lined up in there where only if you're in this state, this country. Read the fine print. I hate that they are like this, but they are. I don't want to speak more to that. I do want to make it very clear. I still think it's an excellent tool if you know what you're doing as you go into this. And I don't think women are educated in this area in the right way. Okay, so be careful with the fine print. I do recommend being on it for 6 months to a year. Why? Typically, the pricing is better for that. And I'm not a big fan of an instant relationship, okay? If you are looking to get into an instant relationship, I would go somewhere else. I wouldn't even be listening to this podcast because I recommend dating anywhere from 6 months to a year. And for some women, they want to do it way beyond that because they really love man-tourage dating and they're not ready to jump into an exclusive relationship or they want to do it indefinitely. That is perfectly fine, but I definitely, bare minimum, recommend 6 months. I like to give yourself a year so you don't feel pressured. Oh my God, I've got to meet him or I've just wasted all my money. Speaking of, this is where we're going to go into the philosophy behind it. And I want to help you understand what online dating is in the context of man-tourage dating. So online dating is exclusively one tool that gives you quite a few opportunities to practice man-tourage dating. I use it and I will continue to use it because A, I know how to use it. And I'm very helpful with my clients and I help them tweak everything so that it's a very personal experience. But you have to understand a couple of things. One, I don't necessarily think that you are going to meet your forever man online. Now, why, Jen? Why in the hell would you recommend online dating? Well, because again, remember when we were talking about earlier about addressing your blocks? One of the best ways to address your blocks is learning how to interact with men differently and standing in who you are while you're doing that and learning all the things that you've learned improperly. And there's a lot of shit that we've learned about men that's not accurate. And using online dating to encounter all that and to practice dating, actually practice dating. Because if you don't go through the motions and you think you're just going to all of a sudden get it right after years and years of having shit-ass experiences, you're lying to yourself. Just flat out lying to yourself. So online dating is a fantastic venue to start how to immerse yourself in the world of entourage dating and learn how to do things differently with men. At the same time, learning to truly, for the first time, honor yourself in that process. And there's so many different pieces to that. So when I say that, if you need a reference, this would be a great reference. There's 2 references for you. Go to, and this will dive deeper, go to mentouragedating.com, get my 3-day free class for you to start to learn how to mentourage date properly. The other place I want you to go is jennburton.com/secret society. And there is a video about the pieces that you are missing in this experience that online dating definitely can help you address. Really, really important. Again, these are things that would be extraordinarily helpful for you to start understand because as you have heard me say in the past, dating is not a transactional process. It's not, I tell you to do this and then this absolutely happens. No. Everything I teach in mentourage dating is actually much more brilliant and much more long-term because it's building a foundation. So when I teach you to do something, it's not necessarily because I'm trying to get a certain reaction out of a certain man. I am teaching you to step into who you are romantically, plus learn how to engage men in a way that they're extremely receptive to. And that's a building process, and it doesn't always work in that transactional moment. And you are going to be significantly happier in love if you step away from the idea of transactional dating. And that's what we are doing nowadays. And that's why so many women are fucking unhappy as hell in dating, is because they're doing everything transactionally and expecting it to work long term. And it's a vicious fucking cycle. Okay, so understand this is one tool in the context of online dating. It's one tool you should absolutely do, and you should absolutely do it well. But understand it's not because necessarily I think that you're going to meet your forever man there. But I do know, A, it is extremely possible, okay? There is a very high probability. But the second piece of it is even if you don't meet your forever man online, guess what? I know that you're going to get the experience that you need to immerse yourself in mentourage dating, that you'll end up meeting him offline easily because you'll have the practice. You'll have the ability to start dissolving all those blocks that have been keeping you from everything you want romantically. It's a really fucking brilliant system. Okay. Another thing, something I hear all the time. Men are really, really bad about this too. People think that online dating is a numbers game. It's not a fucking numbers game. All right? You can say it till you're blue in the face, but when you start mentourage dating the right way and allowing to use this as a tool versus your end-all be-all, you'll start to see that this is quality versus quantity. And the way you set up your profile, the way you learn how to interact with men, the way you stand for who you are in the right way, you're going to see over and over again that whole numbers game scenario that's being shoved down our throats is a whole sack of just complete bullshit. And I want us to step away from it as women, okay? We have to step away from the idea, again, that everything is transactional, which is the numbers game thing. And it's about how many guys you go out, how many frogs you kiss, and yada, yada, and all that shit that we're constantly fed. It's not true. It's not accurate, okay? If you want to live in that world, great. You're more than welcome to live in that world. I'm not telling you you can't. I'm just telling you that this probably isn't the place for you to be, because I'm going to teach you how to really get what you want. And again, not from a transactional basis, not from a numbers game basis. Quality over quantity. I will still push you to keep Mantourage dating because there's something really beautiful in that process, but this isn't, again, a numbers game. It's not how many frogs you kiss before you find your prince. It is how much fun you learn to have in reference to men and learning about who you are romantically, allowing yourself to evolve, understanding the dynamic between men and women, letting him have his place while still honoring your place. There's so many beautiful nuances to it that have nothing to do with a fucking numbers game. So, with all of that said, back to the original question, which dating app do you recommend? Well, again, it's a nuanced process. It would depend on, as I get to know you as my client, what I find would be most helpful for you. I almost exclusively recommend long form over short form, but I do a hybrid of both so that women can enjoy both. Do make sure that if you're only doing short form, that you have thick-ass skin. Thick-ass skin plus an undying, unwavering, positive, fun view on dating. It has to be fun for you. I do recommend for my women that are just exclusively looking for sexual encounters, that would be a great idea. Or if they just want to date without anything else connected to it, they're not ready to even think about a relationship, short form's okay too. But in order to decrease the frustration, which so many women have, again, online dating is fantastic. It's a great tool. I prefer long form over short form. Be careful when you register for anything with the fine print. I usually recommend about a year, just because I think you get the best deals with a lot of the apps on around a year. I have noticed, and I can't speak to this all the time because things change in the online dating world all the time, which we'll speak to in just a second. I have noticed that the pricing is typically better if you purchase in a year, for a year, and you sometimes have to go into the chat to get that. Also, on the phone apps, they tend to offer lower pricing. Truly important that you see this as one tool and learn how to enjoy this experience and understand this experience and take this experience where you want it to go, instead of it making it a transactional and frustrating experience for you, which it doesn't have to be. But you need to get the most out of it, understand those other pieces that are coming into play with this. Because if you don't understand those other pieces, I hate to tell you, it's going to be exciting at times and frustrating as hell at other times. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. Online dating is one of many tools to exponentially enhance your Mantourage dating experience and results. It's not the end-all, be-all of finding true love. You do have to know how to use it in the right ways, or it's likely you will end up frustrated. Hey again, lover girl. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share this episode with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you are truly ready to tip the scales of love permanently in your favor, then meet me over at secretsocietyofAdoredWomen.com to schedule your application interview to work with me directly. See you there.